Hi guys, hope you're all well. Welcome back to ICG. Today I'm going to be showing you just how easy it is to make delicious, crispy, vegetarian spring rolls in the air fryer. These rolls are crunchy on the outside, packed with fresh veggies and perfect for a quick snack or starter. No deep frying, no mess, super easy, super tasty and ready in just 10 minutes. So let's get cooking. To a pan, we just want to add a little bit of veggie oil. Don't need too much for this because we don't want this mix to be that wet, because remember they're going to be going in our wrappers. So just a touch, I've probably put a teaspoon in there. And then I'm using your ready sort of shop bought pack of stir fry veg. Now if you want to make up your own, you want more bean sprouts or you want mushrooms in it, by all means make it up yourself, but I find this really easy, especially when we're looking for a really quick fix for dinner or as a snack. If you want to add some meat to this, you can just chuck it in at the same time, a bit of chicken or some mince meat, absolutely delicious. So I'm going to add a good couple of handfuls. This one's got peppers in it, bean sprouts, it's got some Chinese cabbage, all lovely goodies. A little bit of red onion, I think, as well. That's going to be enough for what we need today. So I'm just going to lightly fry that off. I don't want it on too high heat, because what I noticed when I've done this previously is these little bits of cabbage start flying around the kitchen. So make sure it's on a low heat, but leave this for about 2 minutes or so. That's cooked down really nicely because I still want it with a bit of crunch to it. I like that bite when I bite into my crispy spring roll. To that, some oyster sauce. Not too much, again, I don't want this too wet. Just under a tablespoon. And then some soy sauce. And I'm using dark soy sauce. So again, that was probably only about half a tablespoon. Stir it through. And this is ready. So let's turn that off. What I want to do is let it cool before we put it into our spring roll wrappers. So I'm just going to put it into a bowl and we're going to leave that for sort of 5-10 minutes once it's cooled down, and then we can move on to the next stage. So I'll see you then. I'm going to clear this away and I'll see you shortly. So our mix is now nicely cooled. If you were making these ahead of time, this will keep in the fridge perfectly well as it is for up to 2 days. So if you've got people coming over and you decide to make this, you can get way ahead of the game on the day. You only need to now do this step. I'm going to show you a couple of wrapping alternatives for your spring rolls. Of course, you could go to an Asian supermarket and buy proper spring roll wrappers. Most of the supermarkets don't tend to sell them. So my go-to is filo pastry, and I tend to use the Just Roll, and they come out beautifully crispy, which is obviously what we all love about spring rolls. Alternatively, you could go for the rice paper option. I'll make one of these up just to show you, and we could do a little comparison. The good thing about these is they're gluten-free. So if you have got gluten-free guests, you could absolutely use these. It'd be perfect. However, you must make sure that you use a gluten-free oyster sauce and probably like a tamari sauce instead of the soy sauce, because that is gluten-free. So just be warned. So we'll start off with the filo pastry ones first. And I've taken this out of the fridge. I've given it sort of 15 minutes as per pack instructions. And let's just open that up. And obviously I'm not going to be using all of this today. Let's just unfold it. And actually, we only need sort of half of these. So let's just unfold it like that. And I'm going to bring you overhead so you can see what I'm up to. So using a sharp knife, there's a crease straight down the middle of these, and I want to chop it straight down there like that. Move that knife, bring that on top. Hopefully that's central for you. Just move it sort of so it's on the diagonal, so you've got the point facing towards you. Grab some of your mix. Make sure you've got a bit of everything in there. Again, make these as big or small as you want. I mean, I notice when you go to the supermarkets, you can only seem to get those little piddly ones now. It's really hard to find a full-size spring roll, and that's what I like. Grab your corner, and you want to sort of roll it over and bring it in. Fold once, and then I sort of wrap it over like that. So you're sort of enveloping it effectively in like that. And then we're going to roll it over. Try and keep it as tight as you can. And then here, I've just got a little bit of corn flour, like a slurry mix, just a little bit of corn flour and water, because we don't want this to, sorry, it's been sitting there for a while. We don't want this to separate or open up. So just put a little bit there, just a touch on there. And I'll use my finger just to make sure. And then final roll. And there we go. We've got one spring roll. I'll quickly show you, move this out of the way, how you do the rice paper ones. So you're going to need some water. It does tell you on the packs of these anyway. So that's just cold water. Get your rice paper and stick it in. It's going to take about 30 seconds, I find. You don't want it to go to the stage where it's really hard to handle. It's just like mush in your hands. So we want it just before it gets to that stage. Okay, that feels good to me. It's still got a little bit of firmness to it. Just move the water. Get that onto your board. Like so. Again, with your mixture, place it in sort of the center there, spread it out a little bit of pepper in that one. There we go. And very similar, we're just going to roll that over. Firstly, fold in the sides. Again, sort of enveloping it up and then rolling away from you. And there you go. A rice paper spring roll. So I'm going to crack on with the rest of these. So I'll see you shortly when we just oil them up before we put them into the air fryer. Okay, so I've got 4 out of that mix. That was about 1/4 of a bag of the stir fry veggies. So not bad. And I obviously, oh, and the rice paper one as well. So 5. Just give them all a brushing and all. This is really important, this bit, because this is what's going to help them get really nice and uber crispy. So just make sure you give them a good coating all over. Just be careful with that rice paper one. They are a little bit more delicate. And then a little shimmy over. I've actually oiled the plate as well, so hopefully it still needs a little bit more on the bottom. And then gently turn that one over. Give it another brush. Plenty of it on there. A little bit naughty. And that's it. So these are ready. So I'll see you over at the air fryer and let's get cooking. So they're in the air fryer. What I will say, the rice paper one, I tend to put it on a bit of greaseproof paper. If you've got a air fryer liner, I would use that because of the stickiness of the rice paper wrappers. It can tend to stick even with that oil on there. However, the standard filo pastry ones, obviously straight on the grilling rack. So let's get it in. So these are going to cook for between 8 to 10 minutes. As always, guys, just remember everyone's air fryers are going to cook slightly differently. So you just need to keep an eye on it, obviously, and just make sure it's not burning and flip them halfway through. There you go. 10 minutes done. Zone 2. So once these are ready, I will see you over at the bench where we can give them a try and see how we've done. So there we have it. Crispy air fryer spring rolls. 2 ways as well. And I've put myself a little bit of sweet chili sauce just to dip it into. So this is our rice paper one. Obviously a lot smaller and it doesn't feel as crispy. One of our filo pastry ones feels a lot crispier. Let's cut it down the middle. And we'll cut this one down the middle as well. That's it. So I don't know if you can see that. Hopefully you can. But you can see the stuffing in there. Lovely. Make them bigger or smaller, obviously. And the good thing is, I know I said earlier, you can keep the mix and put it in the fridge, but you can reheat these. They reheat really, really well. So let's try our rice paper one first. A little bit hot. The flavouring's lovely. The rice paper actually does a really good job, but it's definitely not as crispy. But if you were to use the gluten-free soy sauce and oyster sauce, as I said, it would be a great option if you've got people over who are gluten intolerant. Let me try it with a bit of the sweet chilli. Crispier on the end. I actually really like that. Just great flavours, to be fair. Okay, right. Let's try the filo pastry one. Again, I'll make it fair. Do it without the sweet chilli first. Instantly a lot crispier. I'll be honest, I can't tell a lot of difference between that and an actual sort of spring roll wrapper that you would get from the Asian supermarket. Let me try it with a bit of the sweet chilli. Oh, yeah. You can definitely hear that crunch. That sweet chilli just sets it off nicely. They are delightful. Guys, definitely give these ones a try. You saw how easy and quick they are to do, and they are so tasty. Anyway, that's it from me for today. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please do also like, share, and comment. If you try this, please do let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I'll put all of the details of today's crispy air fryer spring rolls down below in the description as always. And all that's left for me to say is until next time, it's cooking good.